All right, we're live, but no one's connected yet. I see there's a couple of comments there. Welcome to Monday Night Live, everybody. So, I know I got a little color. I was out fishing this weekend, got the boat out for the first time. James has been sharing some pictures. He's got some color and some stories to tell us. I bet a lot of people got out this weekend. I saw a lot of pictures on media. Did you, Jim?
Yeah, yeah. And it was a nice weekend.
Oh yeah, we were like at record highs up by us. It was got up to like 84 and 86 on Friday and Saturday. It cooled off a little late Sunday afternoon. That weather came in and the wind kicked up and it dropped 20 degrees in like an hour and a half. Right?
We hit 90 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I went south on Kentucky Lake. Water temperature was about 5 degrees cooler
Hmm.
than what it was where we started off when we started just north of Paris Landing there. And a water temperature in there was 65 to 67, 65 to 67, depending on how shallow you got. And I thought, man, if it's here, them fish ought to be further along on the south. So I ran
Yeah.
south
Yeah.
and got down there, and it was in the 60. I did find some 63. It was like, man, this doesn't make any sense.
You know what it must be? It must be it rained up the chain and cool rainwater was coming down
Mm-hmm.
and and pushing the warm water. Yeah.
And that could be because all that rain that we did get and everything, it just kept on going east, and everything east comes down. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we're the last pot of gold before it hits to Ohio. So
Yeah. And the biggest dam, man, that's a gigantic dam. It's just amazing every time I see it, right?
yeah, um, but yeah, it Saturday wasn't too good. We spent 12 hours on the water, caught probably 15, 16 fish, and only two keepers. That just floors me.
Yeah. Well, this time of year is a little bit dicey. Things are changing. The weather's been either, really hot or really cold here. We've had some violent storms kind of come by.
Yeah, and then this week it's up and down too. We're sick. We may hit 60 today.
Yeah, we were cool too. Yeah, definitely that front rolled through yesterday.
Yeah, and I think it's supposed to be just a little bit warmer tomorrow, a little bit warmer Wednesday, and then some rain, and then back cool off again. So
Yeah. Yeah, I just looked at that. I didn't look at Kentucky Lake. I thought it was interesting. I'm like, what? Did I just read that right? I'm like, I know they were out of the ordinary having one taken off from Paris, so this is the one that's going to take off from Paris. I wonder why they did that. Maybe it's just an overlap or to do something different or
I don't know.
fish are still on the deeper side of the bars or humps. Yeah. Up here, um, it started warming up Thursday here. I got to my little lake and it was like 50 degrees on Friday. It was 54 by the end of the day. About 4 degrees on a warm day. My brother-in-law is up. We went out to Shelbyville on Saturday and it started about 55 and it peaked out about 58, 59 in the back of some coves here. But man, we drove around for 4 hours. We could hardly find anything. We finally found some shad, and the only bass I could see were occasional on a piece of structure. And I've got older hummingbirds, so I know they're sitting on the bottom, and I can't see them that well. When I looked really hard in some areas, um, I think I saw some on the bottom, and I just knew at this time when they're hugging the bottom, they're just so hard to see. Now, Probably on the more modern sonars, they're a little better. What are
And
you running, James?
even on my Garmin, on the front, I'm running the Garmin, and I don't even know what it was because it came as a package. The 12-inch Garmin with the LBS 34, and then I've got
Yeah, that's the latest. Yeah, probably
and
the
then
Ultra HD 2 or Ultra 2 something, right? That one.
and then the Lowrance 12 Pro. Now on it, I was running my mapping with the down scan on it, and
Mm-hmm.
then I had the forward-facing sonar with the Garmin. Even today out there, it was on the main lake point, um, on kind of a flattish, what I call the flattish point. I was probably, I don't know, probably 80 feet from the bank and still sitting in about 10 foot of water. But I seen a lot of bait fish out there. But the closer I got up and the boat was sitting in about 7, I could just see them on there just off the bottom, just moving. But they're chasing. They're not just roaming. They're moving kind of fast, looking. And I ended up getting one because I seen him up there in about 3 foot of water, and I threw the jerk bait up there, and I got close to him where he bit, and it was about a 14.5-inch bass, largemouth. But that's the only one I caught this morning. But I could see him. I was like, man, let's snap a finger and learn how to do that because I had the minnow ready, but I can see, but trying to control it, cast and watch it come to that fish to see what it's going to do. I don't mess with it enough. I just looking for, what most of us OGs do is look for brush piles or see where it actually goes up or the depths change and stuff like that. But yeah, it's good. It's good. That is definitely what's going to win it on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I mean, Scope is winning everything. I mean, you've been on here, you got to do it both ways. It's hard to win in 3 hours only with a scope. You got to rely on some
Yeah.
other methods.
Now I know on that spot that I fished on last Saturday and then Thursday and fished it again this past Saturday, there's enough fish on there that a guy that's a good scoper can go in there and spend 3 hours in that one little spot and probably catch 15 to 17 pounds. But I'd be looking through and I'd see him and then throw, and it's no secret, but I'd throw that Carolina rig up where I'd seen him and start working it. And once I
Mm-hmm.
get past and I didn't get bit, I'd turn it and start looking again to see where they moved. And I'd try to throw in front of them and then work it through and I'd get bit. So I know that a good scoper could go in there and throw that minnow and whack them.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in the cold water I had, and I've only got a Mega Live 1, if I could see them, they weren't chasing, moving really fast because we had a hard time finding even bait balls. But when we did, I could see that they were chasing in the bait balls. But even in those areas when they were just hanging out on a flight or by a piece of structure, they were moving.
Yeah.
If they were off the bottom, they were moving. The ones on the bottom, I think, were just sitting there.
Even I was watching them on the bottom, and you could see them just come up where you could see them, and then you could see them swimming, and then you could see, because it's funny because when you catch them sideways, you could really tell.
Right.
But then they turn and then they get real and then just move and then they're disappeared.
They vanish. Yeah.
Yeah. And I won't say like they're darting, but you could tell that once they got around bait fish, you could see them move a little quicker. But they were just, I guess you could call it roaming. They were just kind of just around but
so kind of like
this is what they call the
Beaver.
sprayed grass.
The what?
Sprayed grass.
Oh, the
It's
color.
it's a kinky beaver,
A kinky beaver.
but it's
Yeah.
a kind of a purple back with that green pumpkin belly. They call it a sprayed grass. And then the other one's the big Texan, which I really like. But that's what that and of course I throwing a Carolina rig. I had to pull out the man's paddle tail, and I did catch a few on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How's the water clarity?
well, up until today, even in the cove, I mean, you're still
2.5,
two,
3
two
before. Yeah.
feet, two
No,
feet
2.
even today.
But today ripped it up.
Now on the main lake, it's a little. I call it a little stain. Now, when I went back and got right there close, when I got north of the bridge going back into Paris Landing, now it was almost chocolate melt because of the waves, but you could tell it's from all the waves. It wasn't because of the rain or
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
because even south, it wasn't that way until you got north of the bridge, that's where all the
The
main
wind
waves
comes
in it.
down for what, 20 miles straight down, right?
Yeah. So you get that first that first mile, and then of course on that west side, it wasn't bad. It was that foot to 2 foot waves where you can still kind of run on top. Now, if you got out there in the channel where the actual channel markers is, and then in front of Big Sandy, oh, it was just as bad there.
Yeah.
As long as you hug that left side, west side or east side. I'm sorry, east side, and go down, it wasn't bad. But you go in them coves like that cove that's one on the left, it kind of hooks around and kind of looks more north. So it was getting a lot of wind, but as long as you hugged that north bank, it wasn't bad. But it,
Right.
I don't foresee, unless that wind calms down a little bit. I don't think it's going to take much weight for either the co-angler or the boater to get a check, depending on how many boats there is too. There's
Yeah, there was
still
only
find
about
them.
90 in the last one, and the write-up they did said since they're taking off at Paris, it's going to add a lot more people.
Yeah, of all the times, I wish it was taken out of the up north, because then I could cut across and go over on Barkley. And
Yeah. Yep. You and Jerry love Barkley, don't you?
yeah, yeah. There's still fish on the deeper side of the bars and humps. They're still. I mean, they're still going to be. I mean, the scopers. I mean, you might be able to catch them on, a crankbait or spinner bait, a big spinner bait or jerk bait, as long as you can get out of the wind, because you know how trying to do anything in that wind.
It's
Um,
crazy, I know.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So yeah, man, water temperature up there, uh, probably, um, probably starting to move in, probably like in the, mouths of bays or secondary points in the bays. They're probably staging up here, and but you got to have a good, what, 10 days of stable kind of temperature and water, right?
yeah. Because just from Saturday to Thursday, um, the fish had moved a little bit. And we did have one day that kind of dropped down low, but it stayed pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I started off too shallow, but also the lake's coming up too. I mean,
You
it,
want
it came up, it came up probably 2 feet in a week.
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause
really?
it's up at 357 and a half. So it's halfway there to summer pool already.
Nice.
And we
Nice.
usually don't hit summer pool until um, about May, June.
Really? So it's ahead of schedule. Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to get out in front of them and work your way back now because some of the earliest, biggest ones are the first ones in. I mean, what about the smallmouth? The smallmouth, I think 2 years when I fished it about this time, the smallmouth were already in, and it wasn't as warm as it is now.
Hmm. I was within the first. I was at the secondary point, and it wasn't that far in from the mouth of the creek. And on that Saturday, all I caught was smallmouth, and it's weird because I've caught smallmouth and largemouth at the same time.
Yeah,
But here lately, it seems like if you get on a smallmouth, that's all I catch. And then on Thursday, all I caught was largemouth out of the
yeah,
same out of that same stretch of bank. So I
yeah,
think
yeah. Uh-huh.
so. And then Saturday we went in there and we was catching spots and largemouth, but nothing of any size. They was all small.
Yeah,
Um, and then today I couldn't even make it up there because of the waves.
yeah. Yeah, Tim's saying it's gonna cold front on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, I'm going down to Tennessee and that Center Hill, and same thing. It's gonna be nice and warm, and then Friday, Thursday night, and it's gonna cool off. Friday, 50%, 60% chance of rain. Is that what it's supposed to be here? And
Yeah,
then Saturday is gonna be the coolest day of the week, and I gotta imagine it's gonna be pretty similar. I mean, Center Hill's just 150 miles south or something.
yeah, we're looking at 70% chance of rain on Friday
Yeah.
all day.
Oh, all day.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, and then
You're going
it's
to have
going to
some
be,
cool water and mud coming in. Yeah, okay.
and then Saturday morning, a cool 36 and a
38 when
high.
I take off. I just checked it out. Yeah, high of like 58, 60, right?
Yeah, and our high is right now is 66, but yeah,
Oh, you're better. Yeah.
yeah. But it went from partly cloudy to mostly sunny.
Mm,
So I'd rather had a little bit of the clouds and still that sun, but
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it right now it changes. It changes so quick.
It's that time of year where it does this to us every year. It's going to get warm. No, it's not. And it'll do this for 6 weeks and yeah, freak you
Yeah,
out.
it's funny because I got a groundhog, and he's my pet. I call him my pet, but it ain't been warm enough for him to even come out of his hole yet. Even though it got up to 90 the other day, he knew better than to come out because he's like, But I
Uh-huh.
haven't seen him. I've got a camera, one of my home cameras are pointed right towards where that hole is, and I'm waiting for him to catch him when he comes out. But yeah, I ain't seen him yet since last year. So
I
yeah,
guess you didn't see a shadow then, huh?
no, no. So when the Groundhog's Day, he said, "Yeah, he seen his shadow." I said, "Mine's still down there in his underneath his blanket in his hole. He ain't coming out. He knows better."
Right, right.
But yeah, it's
So kind of junk fishing still. It sounds like it's all over junk
well,
fishing, right?
that's what I'm saying right now. But like I said, the scopers, I mean, it's going to feed right into their hands because they're there.
Yeah,
I just can't do it. And you got to spend so much time fan casting, the old school way, because at least I know they're there. It ain't like, before you just kind of, well, this looks good and fish it and fish it,
yeah, yeah,
fish it.
yeah, yeah.
At least I know they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I can get the bait in front of them, I'll catch them. And been doing that, but I can't keep catch 5 in 8 hours doing it. I can catch, 2 or 3.
Yeah, and you're only going to have your scope for 3 hours, so you got to decide
Yeah,
not only where you want to go, when do you want to use it, when where you want to go, and plan out your whole day for when you can't go. And if you're going to make a longer run, you really got to plan a little more ahead.
Yeah. The way I've kind of went through, I've got some brush piles that are kind of shallow but still underneath the water. I've got all
Yep.
them marked. And I know of the 2 or 3 places where I'm going to start on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not even going to start with the forward facing, because I'm going to start and then work my way back.
Yep.
Depending on which way the wind's coming, because I'm either going to start where I've caught them and work way back, or depending if the wind's blowing right, then I'll start shallow and work my way up to it.
Are you
And
going to
then
get out again this week? Is your practice done now?
my practice is done.
Yep.
If I knew that Kentucky Lake was going to be, and I knew it was going to be windy, but it said more out of the kind of the northeast instead of out of the north. And I was like, okay, I can still get over on that east bank and run where I needed to go. And that wasn't the case. It was almost straight out of the north.
Oh, yeah. I remember February 2 years ago was like that, and it was crazy bad.
Yeah. Okay, Brad, was you on the north end or was you in the middle? I can see you having bloody tails. I mean, especially if this time of year. Now, if it had been steady, warm water, warm air, wind not blowing crazy,
Oh, they'd be up there, yeah.
it would be a catch fest this weekend. But the way down here, I think there's going to be people trying to run north. If they've been out there, if they've been out there on the water pre-fishing this last week and seen the water temperatures I have and the difference,
yeah,
the ones that are wanting to see, that more of a winter, what I call more of that late winter, early spring, then they'll run south. But they're wanting more of that spring in that 60 to 68, 65 to 68 degrees. They're going to be right on north.
Yeah, they did. Clint Knight had the pre-interview, and he's hot off a top 10 finish here on the pro circuit here. If any of you guys watched that this weekend, I didn't have a chance to watch it, but I was kind of listening.
Did you? They was on the what do they call it? The invitationals now.
Yeah, yeah.
They fished Wheeler.
They're on Wheeler. Yeah.
Did you see the weights? How they dropped off on the third day? The last day?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Lane Cole, was it Carl Cole Lane? Led it first 2 days, caught one fish on the last day.
Mm-hmm.
He went from first to 18th.
Oh.
On the first day, there was like 15 that was over 18 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Second day, there was less. And on the third day, there was 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the weights dropped, considerably. I was hoping for Lane because I like the Lane boys. And that's his son, one of their sons. So, and he was doing pretty good the first 2 days. And then that third day, come in with one fish. I was like, oh, Lord. But then I started looking at the rest of them, and all their weights dropped off except for the top 3 or 4.
Yeah. I mean, Banks, he's a super scoper. I saw Carter Nut was in the top 10 too, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Local Illinois boy Ethan Fields cashed a check. He is 38. Hey, out of what, 125 guys? He's doing pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Levi Cole, not so good. Didn't have a good tournament.
Yeah. And then the nut the classic winner,
Dylan.
Dylan. He didn't do.
Oh, that's right. He fished that too. I forgot.
He got a check. He got a check, but he was down on the bottom end.
Yeah.
Now his brother did fairly well. His brother got the top
Yeah,
10.
he was like 7 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I watch that. Try to keep up with some of the BPTs, but it all depends on where they're at.
Well, in the winter when you can't go fishing, okay, you watch it on TV. It was the first warm weekend. I wasn't staying home and watching TV.
Yeah, I watched it Thursday and Friday because I was at work, and then Saturday is like, nah, I'm fishing. So
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
caught up on it when I got home, looked at the standings and see where they ended up, and
yeah.
but yeah,
So, yeah. So, man, what do you kind of what kind of baits you think are going to play? You think people are still going to be throwing A rigs? It seems like the temperature's up there unless it backs down pretty bad.
there's probably I think unless they're scoping and throwing that minnow, it's going to be I mean kind of a mix depending on what they want to throw, and then depending on what kind of wind they're fishing.
Yeah.
Um, I even threw rattle trap some, thinking maybe, but nah. And I don't have any heavy spinner baits. I mean, my heaviest spinner bait's 3/8. So
Oh
I
my
didn't have
gosh.
a
Yeah.
half ounce or 3/4 ounce to get down there to keep it down kind of where I needed it. Um, so uh, I don't know as far as anything besides I know that they're going to catch them with the minnow just because I can see them with how they're doing and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
and
Well,
that. And I
are
haven't
they
hit
going to
one of
catch
my
him?
bars.
Uh, are, are they going to catch him on the koikis there? I actually was throwing a Yamamoto Uni on a Jika rig, and I did not get bid on it. I probably put in more time than I should have, but I'm like, I haven't fished this bait. Last fall, my brother-in-law started using them, having some luck here. I'm like, there's something to it. I got to learn, and you got to learn by going out to the woodshed and chopping wood, and not catching for a while, right?
Yep, yep.
But I
And
saw timber, and I'd get it out there, and I would shake it, you know what I mean, and kind of give it that jerk bait stuff. I just couldn't get him interested in it.
yeah, um, um, I I don't know. Uh, now I don't. I don't. Probably a square bill and probably a little bit deeper diver. When I
Rock
say a
crawler,
little deeper,
yeah,
yeah,
rock
the rock
crawler,
crawlers keep it down
yeah.
there.
Or Fritz
Uh,
side. I was throwing a Fritz side 7 a lot on
yeah.
Shelbyville. And
Um, they are on some wood, but they're not on all the wood.
yeah,
We did catch a few off of wood, but it was real. I mean, you could fish 20 pieces of wood, and then that all of a sudden that one just boom.
yeah.
And you would think that where we was at, we thought that they would have been on more of it, but it wasn't. It just on we go through there, and it was actually caught on a jerk bait. And the funny thread is I threw it that piece about 10 times with a spinner bait, slow rolling it, letting it fall, then just barely bringing it off the ground on each side of it. And then he throws a jerk bait in there, twists it twice, and boom. I was like, well, that tells me they don't want a spinner bait. Spinner bait went up. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought
so
they'd be on rip rap trying to warm themselves up.
I fished a lot of riprap, and the two little
Nothing.
points, kind of, and one really isn't. It's a point, just because the way it does come out.
Hmm.
It's kind of curved and comes out underneath the water. But when you look at the bank, it's just a little cut. But when
Hmm.
you get up there, you can see the contour that it kind of comes out a little farther. But it was gravel. Um, Fished chunk. There is one cove that I wanted to get to, but I didn't get to fish it much. that I think smallmouth should be in there, but and then probably a little farther back um, because it was a nice big point in a cove where it split into two, the two big arms. But that point was a little farther in. It had a bunch of chunk rock off of it. I didn't get to fish it. I was too busy fishing the other arm. I could have spent 2 days in there and probably not fished at all.
Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Kentucky Lake is big lake. It's ginormous.
Yeah. Give you a hint on Saturday when there was three of us. Round trip, what I put on the boat was 68 miles is what I ran total on
Wow.
Saturday.
Wow.
Because I just thought I need to run south to get warmer water. Got down there and oops.
What? Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, get down there and get back in there where there's 6 foot of water and 5 foot of water, and it's still cooler than what I was up there and 8 foot of
Right.
water.
Right.
So
Hey Matt, how'd you catch him here? What'd you find out this weekend? He was out fishing. I see Ron's on here. Haven't seen Ron in a while. Mark, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Mario kicked in earlier. Good to see you back here. Um, Dustin. Oh my gosh, Dustin, how you doing, buddy? He had some nice fish pictures this weekend up there. Yep. Yeah, that dirty water and the black worm. Yeah, uh-huh.
yeah,
Mark's wanting to know if you hit Barkley at all in your adventures. That's going to be a long run if you're coming out of
yeah,
Paris. My God.
yeah. No, I am going to fish Barkley on Sunday because I got the Country Boy Classic the following weekend on the 4th. So I'm going to fish the Kentucky Lake on Saturday, and then on Sunday hit this lake to try to find something for the Country Boy Classic. But the weights haven't been on the south end here, down here, south of 6880 and south. Weights haven't been that much. About 13 pounds, 14 pounds is what's been winning down here. So the bite's just coming back on Barkley. But Barkley's always usually about 2 weeks down here, anyways, on this end. It's usually about 2 weeks behind Kentucky Lake.
When you say this end, do you live like on the south end of Barkley? Is that what you're
Yeah,
implying?
yeah. I live about 12 miles from Dover, which is on the south end.
Yeah. So how long does it take you to get to Paris Landing? How long does it take you to get to if you got to go to the dam?
It takes me about 40 minutes to get to Paris Landing. And then to the dam takes me about an hour, hour and 5 minutes to the dam.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because where I live, I'm only about 15 miles south of KD's.
Mm-hmm.
So where I go, I just run up to 6880 there in KD's and cut across and hit the interstate and then up.
Yeah.
So
Tough bite. Yeah, boy, we did not have many bites this weekend either. Would have thought they would have pulled up a little bit, but they weren't. Yeah, we searched both lakes. We went shallow, kind of scouted, and came back. And before we even got a nip or a bite, we were in the main lake or in the mouths. Down lake was dirty, up lake was cleaner. Yeah, not sure that the lake was turning over. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think these have yet. But with that warming trend, I mean, going up 10 degrees and from 50 to 60 in like 3 days, it'll be going soon.
Yeah. Sea fish in Kentucky Lake.
No, he's out in Missouri somewhere. He
Oh,
said some small
oh,
lake by
well,
him. Let's see. Mario said he fished Kentucky on Saturday. So what'd you think about it? Maybe you fished the north side. We got James here covering the south side.
yeah, that was. Uh, I was thinking, South. I know this area, and thinking well, I'm going to go out there. And then them first two trips out, I was like, okay, I'm on a little something, and then going, and all of a sudden, just
They're
changed.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So Ron was out and caught some black and blue tinsel. Yeah, and dirty Kincaid for sure. Yeah, Kincaid. Eric likes to fish there. He does the USA Bassins down there. Yeah. You go down to Paris and your guy goes north. You get you get out of your dam, your guy's going an hour and a half south.
and and of all the times that I fished out of the dam, I've only ran to Paris and south of Paris one time in 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
Because it's just because I know how Kentucky Lake is. I stay
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Usually if I take out of the dam, 6880 is about the cutoff. I'll go just to the other side of 6880, but that's usually about the cutoff.
Yeah, that's the first bridge, right? What do they
Yeah,
call that bridge?
yeah. That's the 6880 bridge, which is the first bridge south from
Yeah.
the dam. And that's
Yeah.
usually my cutoff, just because I know that if that wind happens to kick up, I don't have to.
30 miles an hour. You don't need,
Yeah,
yeah. 25, 30.
I'll still I can still get back here without chewing up a lot of time. But yeah, when I was fishing the Illini division team trail,
Hmm.
Illini team trail, and then we fished Bass World one time, and their classics were on Kentucky Lake. We fished one, and John Wright and three others took off out of the dam and went all the way south of Paris Landing that morning. Wind picked up. They made it to Paris Landing, called, and had them bring their trucks and trailers down to pick them up to take them back up. Because they said, nah, we ain't doing it. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's that's the chances risk
Yeah.
you got to take.
Yeah.
But
It's like being out on the Mississippi River and doing that lock thing, man. It's not waves. It could be, but it's like, is a barge going to come by and I'm going to get DQ'd because I can't make it back in time because I can't get through the lock?
yeah, and on that last day of the regional, I thought that was what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got there when they said it was going to be open, and I got there and they said, "Well, we can't put you through because there's a barge coming."
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody was kind of, "Hey."
Chomping at the bit, right? Yeah, I heard that from a bunch of guys, but you just made it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah,
see, Mario was about 5 miles from Paris. Yeah, I mean, especially a lot of guys, they've been taken out of the moors in Kentucky Dam so often, except for maybe the Super. They're not so familiar with, South. So,
yeah. And there's a lot of good ledges, and there's a lot better coves
yeah.
north of the 6880. Well, starting right
Hmm.
there at 6880 and north, because you got
All
the
those East
one,
Side coves, right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, on both sides of the
Yeah.
lake. And the one cove that I really like to hit this time of year is Jonathan Creek.
I was gonna say Jonathan Creek, is it just north or south of the
north,
bridge, right?
north,
Yeah,
north of the bridge.
right.
And I really thought about that, and then it was like, no, because I got to run to 6880, and then I got to go about 4 to 5 miles north to get to Jonathan, and that'll beat me to on them waves. So
Yeah, us old men, we don't like those waves.
the only,
I can feel it with not even having a lot of waves, just not being out on a boat all winter casting. And gosh darn it, man, live scope neck. Man, my neck was sore this morning when I woke up
yeah,
from scoping all weekend. Oh, it's bad for your health.
it this year wasn't quite nearly as bad as what it has been in the past for me because uh,
Oh,
I got a little gym set up here in the front room,
oh,
um,
smart man,
weights
smart
and
man.
weights, and so I've been lifting, doing squats, and then matter of fact, before I got on, I did 3 miles on the bike. I got my leg press over here, and then I do bench press and different with my arms and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I'm getting to that age. I got to start early, so because last year after that first couple times I went out and fished, I wasn't worth a hoot the next day. Man, like, man, where's that Ben Gay? I need a heating pad. I can't
Yep,
move. So
yep, uh-huh,
the
yep,
the only thing that gets me now is just my back because of the waves and
right.
everything. So
God, Mario got a 7.32. Holy moly, in Illinois. That is huge.
yeah,
That
well,
is huge.
that's and
Wait a
even on
second. Wait a second. He didn't say bass. They got some big muskie down there. They got some big catfish. Maybe it was a drum bass.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, hey, guys, notice anything different today?
I have to take my glasses off so I can see. Ah, got some swag going. Yeah, I like that. And even in the good color too. I like blue.
Richardson hats, embroidered. I got a dozen of them. Um, if you guys want to let me know ahead of time here, they're basically, I'm just going to sell them at cost, like 20 bucks a piece here. Real Richardson trucker caps, high quality, not the cheap shit. I didn't want to get the cheap shit here.
Yeah.
Um, I won't be at Kentucky Lake. I'll be at Kentucky Lake for the Toyota 9:10, maybe 11. If I don't make day 3, I'll be at Illini. So most likely I'll be at Illini.
I'm gonna be on the at the line on the 9th, 10th, and the 11th. So because
Huh?
I was wanting to go up, I was gonna go. I wanted to go up there and pre-fish
Oh, gotcha.
the
Yeah.
weekend before, but
Hmm.
the guy he's in the he's active duty and he's been fishing with me since last year, and we placed fourth in this tournament last year, and he seen it and he goes, "Hey, we're fishing the Country Boy Classic." I said, "Okay, when is it?" And he said the fourth, and I said, "No, we can't. I've got to go to Illinois to pre-fish." He said, "Come
Mm.
on, we did so well last year. Let's fish it." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Ow,
So,
ow, ow.
so and it never fails on Wren Lake. I can go up there the weekend before, find a little something, and then the
Yeah,
next week it's like, okay, well, there's a boat. There's two boats. There's three boats. Well,
yeah.
so it's just going to go up there and put the boat in the water and find me a bank, put the trolling motor down, and start fishing.
And go bank fishing. Old school Ren style.
Yeah, and the thing of it is back in the '90s, they're on the left arm on the Illini where all the stump is up on that stump flat.
Yep.
You can find where the channel is and kind of go
Yeah.
back in there. And then once you got into about 4
Slowly.
foot of water, then start throwing fan cast and rattle trap, and you can catch them.
Hmm.
And I've been up there a couple times since then. Since I started back fishing and we've been fishing Ren. I've seen a few boats up there, but I ain't never seen a fish caught, and I ain't never caught one up there out of them stumps. So I don't know.
Um, I've talked to a bunch of guys, and all the old literature. No, the guys said yeah, it used to be great up there, and I don't know if some people are holding out. I know some people still go up there, and I had that experience last year, and Brad knows about it, where you go practice and you're ripping them for 2 days in a row. Guess what's going to happen on day three? There's no way you're ripping them in the same place 3 days in a row,
No,
any time of the year, really.
and usually if I got a fish on Thursday and Friday before that Saturday, is Thursday, I'm hoping to catch at least one to know that I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm
You
going
don't
on
want to
one
wear
this
them
fall
out.
and I catch one, and then I'm going to go see if I can find something else that's similar. And if I catch one, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
And then on Friday, it's just kind of go out there and making sure the water temperature and what the wind's doing and that
And
kind of,
scan in your areas. Is the
yeah,
bait still here? Is yeah.
yeah. And now if I take a co-angler with me, then I'll usually go and try to hit something uh, totally off the wall to see, if they're, try to get a third or a fourth pattern going or what other.
Right, right.
Um, but yeah, that's the only bad problem. And Chris did really better last year. I'm trying to get him to understand that when you go out pre-fishing, if you catch one or two, that's a really good day. Don't go out there and catch 15 pounds.
Mario's claiming it's a bass. We got to
Yeah,
acknowledge it,
yeah.
dude. You got to post a picture of that big boy on social media or something and let us know. I got to see that big boy. That's a
That's
giant Illinois bass.
and even
I
on
mean,
Kincaid, that's a good bass.
yeah, 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 yeah. He'll be practicing with Renfro. Yep, yep. Cool. Yep, going out the table rock. You know it, buddy. If I'll bring some with here. We'll be out there. At least that's my plan now. I got a family something that might come up. I hope not, but I'm still planning to our mud derby. He must be talking Ren Lake, huh? Well, it was 9 feet high when we were there in spring. It was 9 feet low. Can you imagine 20-foot difference from spring of last year to the fall? But all this rain here, my lake was like almost 4 feet low, and it's up at full pool. It's sprinkling over the dam just from 3 or 4 good rains, and it filled up. Shelbyville was still 2.5 feet below normal pool, so not bad, but Shelbyville was a little low. It kind of changed things up a little too. I mean, a bunch of laydowns in the shallow bays. You know how shallow it is in those bays. It was there's nothing there, right?
It I didn't check today, but the lake ought to be coming up on Kentucky Lake. It should be still be coming up because they were still the inflow was more than what the outflow was.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it but it wasn't coming up as fast as I'd kind of like it because them yellow flowers another foot, and I know exactly what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep, a lot of smart people have told me to look for those yellow flowers.
yep.
And sure sounds like a secret, but I've heard it so many times it kind of isn't. Oh, hey
uh,
Timmy, on a hat color, I had to buy a minimum of 12 in a run. I'd have to get 12 in purple. I'm not like selling hundreds of these where I can set up the shop to make all the colors. Sorry, man. I know you Mr. Purple. I like purple too. So this is the first run. Month, maybe next run I'll do purple. We'll take a poll. it, with the colors in the logo, I had to find something that worked with the logo, kind of. So, I had I'm colorblind. Well, I'm not colorblind, but I'm fashion uh, 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 unmature, shall we say. I had the ladies in the family help me with the color schemes.
I didn't look at this yesterday, but the water had dropped a half a
On
foot
Kentucky Lake.
on Kentucky Lake, and then now it's just coming up because it's showing now as of 8 o'clock it's 3:57:04, and I know Saturday it was 3:57.8.
Yeah.
So it had dropped and started coming back up. I'm looking at the inflow at 27, outflow at 13. The 25th is inflow is 19,000 and outflow is 12. So, but it says the midnight's supposed to be 3:56.9 and that's at 3:57.4 now. So I can't see how 7,000 more coming in, it's still going to drop.
Uh, it's like the weather, whatever you predict now, it could change in 24 hours, right? Like predicting how you're going to catch your fish or where you're going to catch your fish.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, man, like that, like Dylan Nutt. I'm hearing some of these interviews and stuff, and he was there practicing for 4 weeks. He had so many spots. Um, he was smart enough. Everyone said, "Oh, it was one on Telco. It was one on Telco. There's big herds on Telco," but he's like, "Yeah, there's big pods of fish, but they're really hard to catch." And he figured out, man, Loudon is where to go win the tournament. And he had those spots, and they were few and far between. And he was on those kind of a lot of those isolated staging flats and stuff, looking at little bitty pieces of structure. I thought it was real interesting. I watched a lot of that. Did you, James?
Yeah, 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 yeah. They didn't like me too much at work because I was glued to my phone most of the time.
What are you doing? Nothing.
uh, but yeah, Brad, I wouldn't doubt if that's where the tournament's won is back in Big Sandy. Big Sandy's about as big as the whole lake of Shelbyville. Well, the problem
Yeah.
is you got to learn how to run it through there because there's so many bars. That's where Wesley Strader won it in early May. Was clearing the back on the spinnerbait.
Isn't that the one if you're going south, once you get past the Paris Bridge, it's to the right, and
Yep,
then the main river goes down the left? Yeah, that's what I thought.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. It starts there and it goes back there forever. And the
Yeah.
farther you back, and the shallower it gets. But it's big. But there's so many
Yeah.
bars in there, and and then you get an east or west wind, and that takes that,
Mud,
yeah,
right?
because that pretty much runs east and west. So you get an east wind or a west wind, it's in there. So
What do you think attracts them all there? Because I know when I went back and watched some of those classics, wasn't it Timmy Horton and his deep water bite?
yeah,
His XD6s was right in front of that point. Van Dam won right over in front of that area, and in that
mhm.
area, didn't he? Way back when?
Yeah. Van Dam won it. I know one tournament just north of Paris Landing, just a little ways. And then Timmy, his favorite spot was there's, and matter of fact, if you go over there now, you can almost still see the top of that one bar. And there's a lot of people that'll stop there and fish that one bar because it's right there close to the bridge. And if you don't know what's there, and when that water's up, you come through without going through the center of the bridge, you go too far off at the end of the causeway there when you come out of Paris Landing. If you go underneath about that second or third piling and you head out, you're only going to go about 50 yards and you're going to run aground.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's close, but you can stay if you come out and make a sharp right. You can go that way, or you got to go up a little bit and then back to the
Back
right.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never go back here because if the wind's out of the north or out of the south, then it's real choppy in there just to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if the wind's out of the east or west, then you get choppy coming in there. So, but
Yeah.
and in the spring, the wind is unpredictable.
Yeah.
It could be calm as day at 7 o'clock and take off, and at 10 o'clock be 5 footers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So what do you think it's gonna how do you think it's gonna face up here? What do you think is gonna be the winning voter and get a check?
the winning bag's going to be around 22, 23.
I was guessing it should be that high unless that cold front really is nasty.
Just from the biggest, well, they're going to figure out a way to get to where they need to get. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The only way they're not going to get where they want is if they cancel the tournament, and that's the only way they're going to do that is if you get the starting off with 20, 25 mile an hour winds, and then
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's to get a check. Depending on,
I mean,
on
we
how
gotta
many places,
we gotta
if they go,
factor in since last year the 3 hour forward facing because those guys that were always winning last year were 8 hours on it, right?
yeah. But like I said, if they find a spot like I did, I truly believe they can catch that in 3 hours easy.
Yeah.
They find them, find a good little spot where they're concentrated, but they're not stacked up. They're just doing this, and they
Yep.
can get up there and them guys are good at that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to be 22, 23.
Brad agrees with you.
I don't think. I think you're going to see kind of a drop off. I don't think you're going to see,
I think you're
20
going to see a
pounds in
big.
the top four.
Yep.
There's going to be, and then to cash a check. Again, it all depends on how many voters. If there's 100 boats, so they're going to pay out 20 places. I think 10 pounds, 12 pounds.
Really? You think it's going to go down that far?
Mm-hmm.
20 boats? Yeah, okay. It's going to if it's 120 boats. Yeah.
And actually, I don't think it'll be that low, but
I was going to say 12, maybe 10. Yeah, wow.
And the wind's going to be the biggest factor on that because you got the guys that
want to run
and big waves ain't going to hinder them much.
Mm-hmm.
I lean towards on the safety side. And,
me too. Ain't worth
it. And my back.
And your boat, your electronics.
Yeah, that's what insurance is for. But but even today, just going on that, my back's been broken 3 times, and I've got. They want to do surgery, and surgery ain't going to do it, and so. Each time a hard pound, it compresses it even more. Then I got to go to the chiropractor and get stretched to relieve some of the pain. So yeah, I don't do 3 footers, 4 footers. Okay, them 5 and 6 is like what they was today.
No
if it
thanks.
wasn't that I'd already took off of work and had put my hours in.
Yeah.
I would have turned around and went back, but I was like, no, I'm fishing for 4 hours at least.
Yeah.
And but yeah, come Saturday, we'll see. Either one of my 3 spots isn't that far to run. It just might take me half hour to get there instead of 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good strategy. That's a good strategy.
And there's several big coves, and it all depends on which way the wind's coming out of. If it's coming out of the east or west, then I'm good either way
Yeah. Right.
to
Right.
run.
Right.
So, and when I was catching them fish, and the wind was coming out of the east, um, east, a little bit northeast, but mainly east. And the other time it was coming out of the west, and it was good. So, as long as that's what I'm hoping, and not that north
Hey, who
wind.
else? Hey, who else is fishing the derb? I know Brad's going to be fishing the derb. Tim, are you going down there? Ron, are you going down there? Matt, I don't think you fish those. Mario, you probably going. Who else is going to be fishing there? Kochek, 4 pounds. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it'll be 4, 4, 4, 6. I think it'll be over 4. That's just over 4, Brad. I hear you on that one. Two
Yeah,
keeps or one big boy.
that's that's going to be good to check. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be close to 10 pounds to get to win it or better.
On the coast side, yeah, 9 to 12, 10. Yeah, probably right in there. Yeah, yeah,
Because it's going to be, they got that 3 fish limit here.
yep, yep,
And that's, you figure 3 3-pounders, that's 9 pounds.
yep, yep. Three and some change, or one's 2,
Yeah.
one's 4. Average,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, are you fishing? Are you just hopping in some? Are you fishing the whole division this year? I think you're
No,
just hopping.
actually, the only reason why I'm actually uh, even considered fishing this one because Ron texted me and says, "Hey, are you fishing? I'd like to fish LBL down there out of Paris." And I was like, okay. And then we can link up that way, we're both
Right,
guaranteed. So it's like, yeah,
right.
I really hadn't planned on fishing any of them. I planned on fishing Kentucky Lake a lot more than I have over the last 2 years just because the regional is going to be here. So I have to make sure that I fish Kentucky Lake to be able to uh, do better than what I have in the past on Kentucky Lake. Plus, I
Oh,
got to
the
do better
The Illini
then
region.
yeah, and then I had to fish Illini region better than I did
Yeah.
last year to qualify because they go to the back to the top 45 instead of 60 last year,
Right.
which
Right.
knock on wood, even though I only weighed fish in 2 tournaments last year, I still finished 42nd. So I was
Yeah.
still in that top 45.
Wow.
Um,
Let's see. As a boater, you weighed in twice, and you were 42nd.
second.
Wow. I didn't look at that stat last year.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And the thing of it is, you saying you was having a bad year. I was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The one was on Shelbyville where I caught that 514. That's
Yeah.
so that was my one fish on Shelbyville, and then my other fish was on Shelbyville because I didn't catch a fish during the super on Kentucky Lake.
Oh, yeah. That was.
I was on them. I was on them there for 2 weeks. I thought we was gonna go over there and just tear them up. We went over to Berkeley.
They moved.
Oh yeah, and the thing of it is, I was catching largemouth in there, and when me and that kid went in there on that first day of the tournament, super, we ran in there, and the only thing we caught were largemouth, but it was all between that 12 and 4, or
13.
smallmouth
Yeah.
between that 12 and 14 inches.
Yeah.
But all for 2 weeks straight, I was
Yeah.
catching largemouth in there and went in there, and all we caught was smallmouth and
Mm-hmm.
short ones. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be it's going to be a grind for me. I don't think it's going to be a grind for some, but it's going to be a grind for me because they move. Depending on the wind, I'm probably going to go start out on my favorite bar. I haven't touched it because I don't want to know if they're there or not. I'm going to run up there, fish it for about 30 minutes, and that's going to be my telltale. They're either going to be there or they're not.
Yep.
And then leave there, and then I'm going to go up there and hit where I've been fishing, where I know I've caught fish in this past 2 weeks, and fish shallow or that. I'm hoping that they quit letting some water out and they bring it up to about 358. They bring it at 358. My flyers are going to be in play because right now, the only reason why they're not is because they ain't close enough to that little deeper water. So if they want to move out, they'd have to go way out. But yeah, there's just if the water was up or if it was near a little bit deeper water, I could probably catch some fish out of them. Because the ones I've been fishing have got about 6 to 12 inches of water in them. But I'm in 2.5 feet of water for about 100 yards before I even get to them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Those spawning coves, right?
Yeah. And that's where, because out of front of that is where that pea gravel is, and they're still in pretty good water and everything. So it still might come into play.
Yeah. So, hey, water may come up, especially if you said you're supposed to get rain most of the day on Friday.
Yeah. And it also depends on the rain that comes from the west for the Mississippi. Anything that's going into the Mississippi or the Ohio affects on how much water they let out of Kentucky Lake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true, too. I never thought about that. Yeah, they got to manage the whole system. So,
yeah, that's the bad thing about Kentucky Lake is they got to watch everything that's coming from the west that dumps into the Mississippi. Then they got to watch everything to the north and east that dumps into the Ohio to see how much water they can release, because we're the last stop from over there past Knoxville that runs all the way down to Alabama and around and comes back up. So, that's the only problem with Kentucky Lake.
But it's still a good lake, and you love it.
I love it. I love it. But I love Barkley better. I just kind of like Kentucky. I don't know much about. I'm learning the north end of Barkley. But it's because I live on down here on the south end.
Yeah.
But for Kentucky Lake, for me to going to here to Ken Lake Marina or going to Paris Landing is the same distance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For me, so I can either go to the middle lake or I can go to the south end and be the same. And it's not that much further to the north end if I go over and hit the interstate and go up. Because I could be at the dam. Because I've been staying here at the house when we fish, take off out of Kentucky Dam, and it's about an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, not too bad.
No. When I'm out on the bar, I don't throw a trap out on the bar. If I'm out there, I'm either throwing a jig or a Carolina rig or I'm cranking. Just because I do better out there on the bars. And I can feel what the bottom is, because some of them bars, the bar could be 200 yards long, but there'll be a section in there that's only 15 or 20 yards that'll have that
With the shell
shell,
bed. Mm-hmm.
or there'll be gravel.
Gravel.
So that's, and I can tell with the jig or the Carolina rig um, better, and then I can throw a crankbait. But it gets in the ends, and I'll throw a crankbait to get it to digging off, and where it comes down off that goes down towards the ledge off the bar. I'll throw a crankbait.
What about a wobblehead?
I've got some
Swing head.
swing head. I just kind of started throwing that about 2 years ago. Actually, I got my first one off of. Matter of fact, I got the first ones I got. I think no, off my buddy, because he was making them. But I didn't throw them much. I just the that swing head. And I actually got, it's a funny story, but I actually got in an argument with Tom Mann,
Oops.
with Tom Mann at Springfield, Missouri, back in the late 80s. He just made a swing head jig.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sitting there and he was talking it up and everything. And I said, okay, so if that jig's laying here and that hook, now then it, the jig, and then that hook is laying down there and you pop it, it comes up. And that fish comes at it. Which way is that hook going to go? If he hits it, that hook's going to go forward and he's going to miss the hook, because now the hook is doing this instead of this. If the head's here, the hook's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So if he comes up from this way and he happens to hit it and he doesn't, get his mouth over it, that hook that's going to do this. And I said, then you're going to feel it, and then you're going to come, but you're going to miss him. I said, to me, that's kind of a stupid design. My buddies had to pull me away from him because we started, and I said, that's the way I'm looking at it, is because it swings. It's not like it's staying there. So if it comes up, he comes up and he comes up here like this, it's just going to push that over. And now after using it, the actual swing head, not the swing head jig, but just the swing head.
Yeah, swing head in the plastic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it does work. I mean, and it gives it that flippy,
Yeah, you like the Carolina jig, and it gives it as opposed to the skirt doing it, you can slow roll it like a crankbait, and it's got that kind of maybe a little more subtle kind of presentation.
Yeah. But back then, I mean, I was in my, I'd been fishing probably about 4 or 5 years and young, and I just like, hey, to me, it doesn't make sense, and it's kind of a stupid ideal, and
young and full of vitamin T. And you know what I mean by vitamin T?
Yeah.
Testosterone, baby.
Yeah. And so now and then after I'm older and actually been using it, it's like, hey, it gives it more action.
Mm-hmm.
Gives that trailer and everything a lot more action. So yeah, I like it, but I don't throw it as much as I probably should. And then
me too. When I remember it, I'm like, oh man, am I glad I tried that? And I always forget about it.
I've thrown the wobblehead a long time, several times throughout the years, because it's not a new look, it's not new. Mm-hmm. It's been out for a while. It's just somebody used it and in a tournament and did well, and it became popular again there for a while. I used it. It gives that bait a lot of action. I just don't throw it enough to get enough confidence in it to do that. I'm still old school. I'd rather throw a jig or a Carolina rig.
Yeah.
I've gotten into where I don't mind throwing a crankbait or a jerk bait, and that gives it, it's timing. The jerk bait
time of year.
I'll throw it year round.
Right. I was going to say summer, I was throwing a big old monster worm, your big old ribbon tail worm out there and getting good bites.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, uh, now I do like throwing a trap, but I won't throw it. I don't know why. I just don't throw it um, around the bars. Now down the causeways, around rocks and stuff like that, I'll throw it. But I don't
I was
know.
thinking the current would get it just so much current for a trap. I was
I,
thinking.
I, and this time of year, yeah, because there's right now it's not too bad. There's only pulling 12,000, I think, 14,000 a day. Now last Saturday they was pulling almost 60, so yeah, that'd have been way too much for a trap, unless you're
Yeah.
throwing about a 2 ounce trap to get it down.
Oh, yeah, man, one of those I haven't seen a 2 ounce trap. I've seen a 1 ounce trap. They make a 2 ounce
Yeah,
trap.
but that's about what it'd take to get down in there, because
Yeah,
if that current's up
yeah,
there and you throw it up current, by the time you even catch up with it, it's
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Like going sideways. If you were throwing down it or you were on top of it,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
But
um,
the current would be pulling it up so hard. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Um, but with a 3/4 ounce jig, I've been out there when they was pulling 25,000 in current and 5 foot waves out there fishing a bar and had our best day ever. We won the tournament with almost 23 pounds, and we
yeah,
caught them within 20 minutes.
yeah, yeah.
And
School
it was
just comes
crazy.
in and clean up, right?
It was crazy because we'd been catching fish out there, and that wind was, except for coming out of the north, it was coming out of the south, and them
Yeah.
waves were big. And had my 21-foot skeeter, and Micah goes, "We need to get out there and try it anyways." He crawls up on the front deck, pulls up the trolling motor, leans up against the seat, and he's up there and he casts his back and he catches a 7.5, and he says, I got a fish. It's a good one. He says, but I can't do nothing. So you gotta get the net and get him to do it. So here I am in the waves because he's crashing on the front. Get up there and I net him, put him in the live well, and I cast out. I lost probably 3 or 4 just because it was just me and just trying to get up there and get him in. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was. I'd like to have that day Saturday.
Oh man, yeah. That'd be nice. Put one of those nice trophies up on your shelf. Tom Mansour went on this interview using that bait just slowly. A wobble head? Is that what you mean, Dustin, or the trap?
Probably the trap, but yeah,
The
it's
trap. Okay, yeah. Huh. Just slow reeling it. Well, yeah. If there wasn't too much current, or was he throwing it down current,
yeah.
you
He
know,
was throwing
usually,
a 3/4 of 1 ounce and trying to pull it with the current. Because if you let it go down, let it go out far enough, it'll eventually find its bottom. Then you could really
mhm,
slow, because it's got a little bit of a lip, square lip on it to keep it down.
yeah.
So I can kind of see
Or
that.
yo it,
Yeah,
but he said slow. He said slow reeling. Okay, just kind of
yeah.
like on the bottom, just kind of,
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh no, wobblehead. Okay,
No,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, like work it like a crankbait, but slow on
Mhm.
that. Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, I just need there's so many lures that I need to try and just go out and not worry about catching fish, just throwing that lure. Um, but usually when I'm out there, I'm usually out there pre-fishing, trying to find some fish for a tournament that's coming up. So I don't have a lot of
You
time. I
got to
don't have that luxury.
fish your confidence. You got to, it's a mental game. I mean, practice days that are not tournament practice days. Okay, like I was trying that little uni, and I knew I was pushing it because I said it's a new bait. That's how I got to be better at a jig. I just said that's all I'm fishing until I start getting bites on it, and that's what you got to do sometimes, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Dustin, they do. I've caught a lot of fish on traps early in the spring.
Yep.
Um, I've thrown it. I just so far this year I have not caught any fish on, and it could be I'm not throwing them in the right places, but I've caught a lot of fish.
Yeah,
Um,
trap's a good bait. But when a lot of current, I've never tried it in a lot of current. That's what threw me for
yeah,
the loop.
yeah, not a lot of current. Usually off of main lake points
Yeah.
early in the spring, and then that causeway going into Paris Landing. You get them up there, you can just wear them out on a rattle trap. But
Those dumb release fish.
yeah,
Hey Nathan, welcome to the show, bud. Got any new secret lures to share with us or anything here from up there, eh, you know?
uh,
Is it ice out yet? I heard Matt Steffen talking that he was watching the Classic and they got like 33 inches of snow in 2 days or something. He couldn't even shovel it quick enough and almost threw out his back because he's hand shoveling. I'm like, well, when you live up there, you got to have power devices, right? And he's going, and then I had to lift it up because the piles were 6 feet high. There was so much of it. I'm going never again for
yeah.
me. I lived 50 years in Chicago, and I said I knew I was moving south and done with that white stuff.
It's. I remember the blizzard in the '70s in Illinois.
79. I was a freshman in high school, and it was like the only time in 50 years where they canceled finals. Yep.
And there for a long time, and it was funny because we would still get 10 or 12 inches of snow and get some 2 and 3 foot snowdrifts because of the wind. And then all of a sudden, it's like, man, we wasn't
Oh,
getting as much snow and that. Yeah, hey, Nashville Predators just beat them.
did they? Well, the Hawks had their 10 years, and they've sucked since.
Hey, Illinois made the Sweet 16.
I know. Yeah.
I think the girls are going to do good too.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Took a boat out. Water temp is 37. Oh, wow. Okay.
Woo!
That was Lake of Ozarks Toyota opener last year. Ice out that week. The water was 37, 38.
I tell you what, even though that water temperature today was 60 degrees, when it splashed up and I got wet today because I left my rain jacket, I ain't put it in the boat yet because when I got it
Oh,
back,
oh.
I took it down there and had all that work done to it, and then I got it back
Yeah.
and I just put the stuff that I need at the
Yeah.
time. And I had my rain jacket out this morning. Nah, I ain't gonna need that. Yeah, I needed it because them waves, and of course, when you hit them waves, that water just sprays you. I was about half soaked before I even got to the first spot. Got in
Oh,
there.
geez.
I was out of the wind, and that sun felt like it was about 90 degrees, even though it wasn't. It was only about 45, but it was warm. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you what, that water felt like it was 37.
Hey, that's a good hint for people. And I always say that, hey, whatever the land temperature is, subtract 10 for being on the lake. And if there's more wind, subtract like 20. And don't forget about the water spray. I mean, people were talking about thinking they were going to get hypothermia on some of these events. And you can take
Oh,
layers off, but you're dead if you don't got them, especially in the morning.
yep. Dad always taught me at a young age. Always expect the worst and hope for the best.
Pray for the
And
best.
yeah, yeah. And then uh, if man made it, man can fix it. And the third is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah.
because you can always take off, but you can
Yep.
never add on if you ain't got it.
Yep. Amen, brother.
So, all right, Dustin. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see you too, buddy. Here. All right, everybody. Let's. We're coming in for the close here. Any last minute questions? Thanks for everybody hopping on here. Man, it's going to get really busy for everybody soon here. A bunch of tournaments coming up across the board. Fish moving up, getting ready to do their yearly deeds here, and try not to interfere too much with their activities because we want more bass.
Yeah. And for as long as I've been fishing, I've probably seen a handful of fish actually on the bed, just because I don't go looking for them. I don't go,
Yeah, yeah.
in there and look for them. Now, there's not saying that I probably ain't caught some that came off a bed. I just didn't see them because either the water clarity or they was out a little deeper than what I thought. But actually going up there and seeing them on the bed and trying to catch them off a bed, I tried that one time and I spent an hour and a half on it and
Yeah.
nothing. And that was actually on Lake Mattoon.
Yeah, I
But
mean, our lakes are so dirty down here. You can kind of see remnants of a bed. Sometimes you can see them on the bed. Up in Chicago, there was a little local pond reserve, like a 60-acre lake, and it was a spring fed. So it was, oh, you could see 10, 12. 10, 12 was like a dirty day. And oh, you could just see them. I mean, just lined up on the banks. And boy, they in that clear water, they just would you couldn't get them to bite.
yeah, and after that, and thanks, Tim. Yeah, hope to see you. Um, but I've always, through everything that I've always, even in the early Bassmasters, and even their series, the top 150s, top 100s, you had your guys that would, when it was time, during the spawn, they would spawn fish at the spawn, but there were still the guys that was trying to get them coming and going, finding that
Yep, yep,
highway, coming
yep.
and going. And that is something I've always tried to do, is find them in the early spring, find, where they're going to, and try to catch them coming through back, because not all of them are going to spawn at the same time. And
Oh no.
if you find that spot, you're good for a couple weeks,
Oh yeah.
because it's just a highway. They're just going and going. So
Right.
that's
Right.
that's the spots that I always try to find. I haven't found that too often, but a blind squirrel will find a nut every now and then, and but
I hear you there, Dad.
but that's in the springtime. That's what I usually try to look for, and still going real shallow, and trying to find them on the bed.
Yeah, they get real finicky on the bed, and then they got to recover afterwards, and they're feeding up ahead of time. So the highway into those areas, yeah, I've read about that a lot. I've only had really serious access to fish the last handful of years, and it's been on dirty lakes, not clean
Yeah,
lakes. So
yeah, yeah. And say, and fishing for so long up in Illinois, fishing Shelbyville, Lake Mattoon. Uh, the only clear lake we had, well, used to, it's not as clear as what it used to be, is Mill Creek. It's a deep, it used to be clear because it had so much grass and stuff in there. It was nothing to see 15 or 20 feet deep,
yeah,
but you could catch
yeah.
a lot of fish. But it's dirtied now. And then Lake Sarah used to be a real clear lake. But it's the cleanest, but it's still not clear as what it used to, and then you got
Is it
St.
from the
Paul.
lack of Is it from the lack of grass again there in
Yeah,
Sarah?
yeah. The grass is what filtered all the, most of
Yeah.
it and keep it clean, and that's the way with
And
Kentucky
keeping the
Lake.
erosion away from the yeah. So what is killing all the grass?
Well, like on Sarah and Mattoon, too many people started coming in there and didn't want it,
Oh,
so
so they
it sprayed.
sprayed and cut.
Yep, and that's the way with Sarah. Shelbyville never really had a lot of grass on it. You'd find a
Yeah,
little bit here and there, but it was never a
yeah.
big grass area. Um, it's just most of Shelbyville's is the Corps of Engineers' fault because they don't know how to control. To me, of course I'm not a engineer or nothing like that, but it seems that they keep the water down too long, they raise it up too much, let it stay up. The fluctuation in it so much. I remember fishing it for 3 summers long that it never reached summer pool.
Wow.
They kept it down,
Yeah.
and then the next time,
All the erosion problem. I mean, they just put in that 12 million bucks worth of riprap 2 years ago. It's definitely helped with the
mhm,
clarity, but I mean, you need a program to get grass back in. I've seen other lakes do this where you've got to purposefully do something to promote it.
mhm.
I did see the volunteers were doing their yearly building a whole bunch of crappie cages and stumps and their deal here. So I saw that
Yeah,
went on this week
yeah,
again. Oh, last week or whatever it was.
yeah. Here in a little bit, it'll be time to go to their page and start getting
Update.
waypoints. So, thanks, Mario.
All right,
Uh,
everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Thank everybody for thanking James, spending time with us, shooting the breeze, talking fishing like we do like to do on Monday nights.
yeah,
Be an exciting weekend. You guys will have Kentucky Lake. I'll have Center Hill. Hopefully, some interesting stories. It's a Highland reservoir. I was a little bit reserved. It's a little bit Dale Hollow like with scopers, but 3 hour rule. And I've seen a couple of shows up there. It just looks to be like a beautiful area. So I have a fun day on the water. Whatever. It's about the experience, the journey of life. And
yeah,
then we're going to head into the Toyota Series on Kentucky Lake back there. Another interesting one. Well, we'll spend some time on it. And then before you know it, Illini opener April 4th. I mean, no, Table Rock April 4th, then Kentucky Lake, then Illini opener. So I am back to back for the next 4 weeks in a row. How about you?
yeah, yeah. I'm back to back. I got LBL this weekend. We got the Country Boy Classic next weekend, the 4th, and then
Mm-hmm.
Illini opener on Ren on the 11th,
Love it. Yep.
and then I think the next weekend, the following weekend, on Barkley again. So yeah, these
It's
next,
that time of year. It is peak fishing season, and it's peak time for the big ones too.
yeah, yeah. And the thing of it is because of the weather around here, I just started on I call it my boat storage. I won't say a garage because it's not really a garage, but it'll be kind of like a garage. But it's 14 foot wide and 24 foot long. That way I
Like
can
an
store my
aluminum
boat.
shed or
Oh
just a
no,
cover or
it's oh no, it's going to be look just like a shed, but it's. I got 4x6 posts every 4 feet, and
hmm
then 2x10s and 2x12s for braces across the top and along the sides. So it's going to look like a garage. I just won't be able to park my truck and boat in it. It's just wide enough for the boat. So,
yeah,
and that's the
yeah,
main thing is um, getting tired every time it rains. I ain't got, when I get home, can't pour it into something and open everything up and let it drain and let it dry. I got to
yeah,
let it out there and finish and then wait for 2 days when it's nice for everything to dry and then go out there and open the compartments. And then you got all that moisture. And
yeah.
so, Yeah, I
Yep.
started on it and about half done, but it's gonna be. I'm glad it doesn't get dark until 7 o'clock in the evening.
Days are getting longer. Another good thing. But you want to get it done before it gets so hot and it gets so
Yeah,
buggy too,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. If brother-in-law comes by every day after work this week, we should have it done by the end of the week. So
Oh, nice. Nice. Wonderful. Oh, you're gonna love it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the boat storage. At least I can get it done and keep it out of the weather.
Oh man, that it's huge. Well, UV's horrible for fiberglass, and then the wetness. Those are the two kind of main things. And if you need to go work on something when it's raining or whatever, right? Or get out of the sun and work on it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Your man cave, all right.
yeah, that's oh man, I did updates today for the Lawrence and the Garmin. 2 hours,
Wow.
and the one that took the longest was the Garmin because I've had it for over a year. Well, right at a year now, and I haven't done any updates, and I didn't know how. So, time I figured out how, where, and I needed to do and do that, and then get it hooked up. I had to hook it up to the Wi-Fi, put a password into it, but it's not hooked up to my house Wi-Fi. It was hooked up to it's kind of own because what they call the Wi-Fi was between my phone and the unit. So then I
Mm-hmm.
had to download it on the phone. Then I had to download off the phone on there.
Oh, oh,
Then it goes on an SD card. Then once it goes on the SD card, then it's got to go off the SD card to go in the unit.
yep.
So it took me an hour and a half because I had two big updates to do on it. So hopefully things. I still got one more. I got to redo the new upload for the CMAP.
Yeah. I hate doing things like that before a tournament.
Well, matter of fact, I just got to be able to get water temp on my Lawrences because I did a factory reset because it was messing up, and then I did an upgrade, but it didn't. When it upgraded, it somehow my water temp didn't get in there to come on.
Wow.
So I had to go in there, and then they sent another update for the water temp. So now I got water temp at the console, where before I
Okay.
just up there at the top. So I was driving
Yeah.
around looking. I was like, "What's the water temp?" Oh, I got to get up there, drop the trolling motor. Oh,
Oh,
okay,
gee. Yeah, that's no good.
nah, but it's all good now. So
Nice. Yeah, I know I'm behind on some updates, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do it yet.
the only thing that saved me because with a rant, I can hook straight up to my Wi-Fi, and it'll download straight to the unit without
Oh,
my
that's
SD
cool.
card.
That's cool.
If you do it, if there, but you got to do it a certain way, get in there a certain way to do it.
Right.
But you can do it that way, so I don't have to use my computer, put it on an SD card, take it out
Right.
there, put the SD card in,
Right.
and do that. So yeah, that was the only good thing about that. So
Right. Yep. I got to do that. That's what I do. Well, they've got the Hummingbird has the app. You can do it on your phone, but every time you're on a lake or you're in your garage, you have such shitty coverage. It's like, it'll take hours. I'll just go on the computer and put on a card.
yeah, yeah. Well, luckily I parked this right in the front yard, right up next to the house, and my
Yeah.
Wi-Fi reached it out there. So I was sitting on the front and in the seat, and people driving by are like, "Yeah, he probably just wishing he was out there fishing today." Since he's on the front of the
Just
bus.
sitting in your boat. Well, yeah. Should have taken a selfie of that. It would have been funny. It could be your new Facebook moniker.
Yeah, yeah,
Wishing I was fishing.
yeah. So,
All right, everybody.
well, thanks everybody for coming up, and thanks Jeff for having me.
Always a
Appreciate it.
good time.
I just wish I had more good news about Kentucky Lake, but
Hey, you know what? Separate the men from the boys. If it was easy, anybody could do it, right?
Well, that's true. That is very true. So,
All
but
right, everybody, take a kid fishing. Keep your lines tight. Till next time, have a good weekend, everybody. Get out there and go fishing.
have a blessed one.